Fuck around, make my 40 pop. No popcorn, I pop pistols, reaming my body.
Alright guys, as I told you guys a week ago, July 17th is supposed to be the big announcement, quote unquote, that we're going to get from Boruto, and we did actually get an announcement. We got an announcement for a brand new anime arc. Now, this was not the arc that we all anticipated. I kind of had an idea that this right here might have possibly been it, mainly because also last week I did actually release the spoilers for the upcoming month of Boruto, and we did actually get an episode, or the first episode of this actual arc, and it's going to be episode 261 if you guys do want to go back and watch the video with the spoilers in it. But we definitely do have to go over this. They did kind of release a brand new preview to this arc. The actual name of the arc is going to be the Kawaki Himawari Ninja Academy arc. Into the actual preview, it says, after participating in a hands-on event that was hosted by the academy, Himawari seems to have a renewed interest in becoming a shinobi, and to her surprise, Kawaki has somehow even decided to attend the academy alongside her. Since Kawaki is the only one who is older than Himawari and all of her peers, he is particularly dissatisfied with the idea of taking classes with all the other children. Naturally, Kawaki would hate doing troublesome things like attending the academy. However, he reluctantly consented to doing this particular mission because it was given to him by Naruto. For this mission, Kawaki will have to conceal the fact that he is a shinobi. He'll go undercover while attending the academy as a regular student. Kawaki must guard a princess from the bamboo country who is going to be one of his classmates. The princess's classmates and Himawari must never realize that he's even on a mission at all, and so the chaotic school life of Himawari and Kawaki begins. Alright, so on the surface, this does not seem like an insane arc where it's going to be a bunch of action, and this right here is going to mimic my general views from when I did actually talk about this in the spoilers. Even though on the surface it doesn't necessarily seem like it's going to be very huge, it's still a very good possibility that this turns into something bigger than we expect, and something bigger that they're actually telling us as of right now. And I always bring it back to the last arc that we did actually get to see, and of course I'm talking about the arc from the Mist Village. It started off with us just trying to give the hidden Mist Village some ninja tech, and it turned out to become an actual full-blown war. So of course this particular arc, even though it's starting off with Himawari and Kawaki being in a school, it does not necessarily guarantee that it's going to end like that. It's even more likely that it's probably not necessarily going to end just Kawaki being at an academy school, because this arc right here has been hyped up for a very long time. I don't know why necessarily. For example, I told you guys that there's supposed to be an announcement on the 17th. As I said, of course, the announcement is right here, but not only that, they put out a preview to this arc, and of course they put out some of the designs. It just seems like this arc is a little bit more special than a lot of the other arcs that we did actually get to see a little bit earlier. But then again, you never know. Maybe they're just doing all this mainly because it is Himawari's time going to the academy school, and of course that's why they're hyping it up. But I definitely did want to talk about some of the designs, and of course Himawari and Kawaki got brand new designs. A lot of people have been talking about that over the past couple of weeks. I didn't necessarily think it was going to be that insane, but Himawari looks like an actual ninja. I absolutely love Himawari's brand new design. It makes her seem like she's finally becoming a ninja. I don't know. The last thing that will probably perfect this design, of course I'm probably going to talk about that a little bit later on in this video, is probably going to be her Byakugan. When she finally gets her Byakugan, this outfit is going to look hard. I guarantee it. Kawaki's design, a bit confusing, a bit puzzling. This kind of looks like a downgrade, kind of. I don't know. I'm not saying that Kawaki's design right now looks bad or anything like that. I'm just saying this design looks like something that he'd be wearing if Jigen was actually still taking care of Kawaki. I don't know. Like the sleeves are ripped, the clothes don't look like it fits. Don't get me wrong. He absolutely looks like an assassin. This design even mimics his design post time skip a little bit more. But regardless, I still would have liked to see, I don't know, a tracksuit on my guy or something like that. Not to say he has to wear the same exact thing as Boruto, but at least make him look like he's in the 21st century. You guys get what I'm saying. But regardless, I think the designs are fine. Now, the other characters that we did actually get to see, these characters right here don't actually look too bad. I heard that the middle one is going to be the princess. She looks decent, doesn't necessarily look like anything too crazy. What I'm really hoping for, honestly, I'm hoping to see brand new Hyuga characters. We haven't necessarily gotten to see any of the new generation Hyugas in Boruto's class, mainly because there were none in Boruto's class, but hopefully there are some in Himawari's class. Not only that, I'm really looking for unique abilities. We did see a girl with telekinesis in Boruto's class, but we haven't necessarily delved much into her character. But of course, cool abilities like that would definitely be something that I want to see. And not only that, if they were to actually find out some other characters that were actually in this class that were actually children of some of the older generations, that would be absolutely fine as well. If they could sprinkle some of that in, that would be absolutely impeccable. For example, let's say Kiba has a son or something like that in this particular class that we haven't necessarily heard about before. That'll be fire. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure that they said that Kiba doesn't have a child, but you guys get my point. The characters that don't necessarily have a kid, it would be very good if their kids were actually in this crop of actual academy students right here, it'd be that much more entertaining because of course we have a level of familiarity with those characters. Now when I talk about this arc potentially turning into something completely new, because Kawaki is in this arc, we do have to bring up the possibility of him of course having some sort of run-in with Code mainly because we do understand that Kawaki and Code are heavily linked together because of course both in the Kata organization, they both have the Karma Seal, they're both like the quote-unquote vessels of Ishiki Otsuki, a bunch of things like that. So because Kawaki is in this arc, it wouldn't necessarily be the best thing for me to say that right there is definitely completely out of the question. So I would definitely be looking forward to that, even though my personal opinion I don't necessarily think is going to be completely likely, just because of the sheer fact that I think that a future Code Actuation arc would probably have the hype of a Code Actuation arc going into it. It'd be that much more press around the arc, but regardless, it's still a possibility. I wouldn't necessarily completely rule it out anytime soon. But the wish list that I do have for this arc, and I think this right here is probably going to be the wish list from a lot of people. I think first things first has to be the Byakugan. We've seen the Byakugan from Himawari in like the last episode. That right there was absolutely hilarious when she got mad. I personally believe that in this academy arc, I'm really hoping that somehow Himawari's Byakugan is going to now become a lot more prevalent when she actually does start to train a bit more. Now of course I don't necessarily know exactly how this works with the Hyuga clan, but as of right now we understand that Himawari, her Byakugan isn't necessarily constant. Now I'm not necessarily asking for her Byakugan to be completely constant, but like I really wish for her resting face to actually still have like the Byakugan. I'd really love that. Now not only that, of course Kawaki getting some action. Kawaki in this particular arc is probably going to be one of the strongest characters that we do actually get to see in action, and of course whenever Kawaki fights, it's damn near an event, and hopefully it actually does become an event mainly because he is there on a mission, so hopefully things really do get tricky. Now if they are, and most likely there are going to be mainly because this arc does have to have a problem or a dilemma somehow, Kawaki, I would absolutely love to see him actually use some brand new abilities. One of the things that we do understand is that going from arc to arc to arc, we're not necessarily going to get to see all the characters train very much. And what the Boruto writers like to do is of course implement brand new things that the Boruto characters can actually do. Sometimes they do it a bit weird, like for example the last arc that they did actually do it, Sarada out of nowhere started to heal people. It's like, what in the world, when did she get this ability? But you guys get the gist. The Boruto writers don't necessarily always have huge training arcs to show the upgrades between characters, and hopefully Kawaki can show us something new that the Boruto writers did actually give him. Now not only that, my last thing on the wish list has to be a Code tie-in. I talked about how this right here could be unlikely, but of course still possible. My wish list has to be a Code tie-in. Even if this is not the Code Actuation arc, I still do want to see at least a hint towards Code, maybe because the Code Actuation arc is probably in a few arcs, maybe have Code make an appearance, something like that. Maybe starts to, let's say, lay the groundwork and the foundation of a future Code Actuation arc and a future Code manga arc being adapted to the Boruto anime. That'd be absolutely amazing. Now one of the biggest questions for this arc, and probably what I'm going to leave you guys with, is how long this arc is probably going to be. I have absolutely no idea. Because of all this build up, I'm going to say it's probably not necessarily going to be a 2 to 3 episode arc. It's probably going to be a bit longer than that. And of course, some people even say that this arc might even be like an 8 to 10 episode arc. I wouldn't be completely surprised with that, mainly because of course it is Himawari. This isn't necessarily like any regular character. Like hypothetically, if this was an arc about Inojin or something like that, all right, yeah, 2-3 episodes, period, point blank. Or for example, the last one, like the Chocho arc or the Chojo episode, it's like, yeah, it's probably not necessarily gonna be like a 10 episode arc, but because this is Himawari, because this is Kawaki, this has the potential to be an 8, 10, potentially even 12, 14 episode arc. But let me know what you guys think about this arc in the comment section below. Are you guys looking forward to this arc, or are you guys just waiting for the Code Actuation arc to actually come by? Me personally, I'm probably gonna like this arc. Honestly, I'm probably gonna like the Mist arc a little bit more, man, because I just anticipate there's going to be a lot less action based, and of course until it actually happens, of course I still do expect there to be action in this arc, but I still think that the last arc had significantly more action, and because of that I'm probably going to like that. Now story wise, this arc right here definitely has the ability to surprise me, and hopefully it definitely does. But let me know what you guys think about this arc in the comment section down below. It's been your boy Barbie, and we out.
It's a knife.